Hey everybody. It's still pretty early here in the day, so that's why I'm speaking a little bit quieter than usual. I just wanted to talk a little bit about sacrifice and how powerful, spiritually, how powerful, consequentially, this word, when taken into action, can and is. When just the word, it applies to everything. If you want to have kids, you got to sacrifice a lot of time to raising your kids. You want to do good at a job, you got to sacrifice that extra amount of time, that extra amount of effort, that extra amount of willpower. If you even have it, well, we all have it, Well, anyway, to do it, sacrifice, even going back to the Bible, the cross, the sacrifice, it's powerful. And when you think about, how we're all one, that's why I think it's so powerful, because when you really come to that realization, then one of the most loving things you can do for yourself, essentially another human being, even for yourself too, is to sacrifice. Suffering for growth. That's what it is, to sacrifice suffering for growth. And that growth can be your own, and that growth can be, somebody or something else, which is also you, just another form of you. So I've been thinking about this word and wanted to make a video about it because me and my good buddy Joshua, who, is somebody whom we've been working on ways to help, save the world and solve the problems of the world we've been together working on it for over a year now. So there's been a lot of discussion about how to go about doing this. And, we're still not, things have progressed, but the path is still not clear. It's still the way to do this, to go about doing this, has still eluded us. So I've been pondering about this for a while. He recently has been released from jail, so we've had more time to talk about it amongst ourselves too. And when I search my heart and my feelings and what I know, I feel like the best way to do it is for us to work, to sacrifice ourselves, and to work these jobs, which we don't necessarily like as much as other jobs, which is essentially suffering. It is dealing with a state of suffering for growth. We work these jobs, we network amongst each other, we learn to work with each other, and we learn to save with each other. I think that's a key, that could be the key to unlocking the door to a whole new future for all of humanity, is when we learn to really share our resources and time and energy for each other and with each other. Meaning, we start doing things for each other. We start working, doing these jobs we don't want to do, and putting our money aside for the collective good. Just to get in that type of a routine is going to start building a sense of servitude. It's going to start, we're going to start building momentum, because we're going to be sacrificing ourselves for something better for ourselves. But we're having to endure the shit right now so that we can get the sweet later. That's how it is. You got to put the work and toil into planting, the seeds in the plant before you can, harvest the fruits, right? So yeah, as I said, we've been talking, and he's been very adamant. Well, I shouldn't say adamant. He's been open. However, I feel I could be wrong too. But just recently um, he sought assistance elsewhere, financially to get this project going. And he asked me, what my heart felt was the best way to go about doing this. And at the time, it was three options. It was, I don't know, was it three options? I don't even know how many options it was. It was essentially, what it's broken down to me is, do we go for, gold, big money, big help, you know, fast movements, or do we try to take a slower, steadier, more stable pace and work in ourselves and save up ourselves and build ourselves, and then maybe some help will come, or maybe not. Maybe we'll do it all on our own. Who knows? I mean, anybody who decides to join is essentially helping. So, um, I think that's inevitable. But anyway, essentially we're kind of split. And I just the other day told him that I agreed that we should try, and go for the gold. Um, and I've been thinking about that statement, and it's just not sitting right with me. It's just not sitting right. And, I'm going through a bit of a transition myself. I'm getting over I'm working on getting over still my own addictions and, programs I have running that I've found to not be as beneficial as, at a time I thought they were, or at least, for a time for whatever reason, I needed or wanted to acquire it. But, yeah, my perception, um, the way I want to continue living my life, and the way I have been living my life aren't all that harmonious. There's some conflict right now because, but that goes with transition. So that being said, I, you know, I need time to meditate on these big questions. I think that, if time permits, then it can be good, and it can, for me, it can be helpful to be able to sleep on the idea, to think about it and meditate on it, and get back when I really feel right in the answer, and not just be asked a question and, a pretty deep question, and then, essentially have to answer it within a couple of minutes. That's a, especially if one's not in the calmest or you know, the most loving state, it can be easy for one to get spiritually confused and say the wrong thing, or, the wrong thing, maybe a less factual thing to the heart. And I think that may be what happened. I think that may be what happened. I started thinking with the stimulus check and everything, if we were able to have gotten a little bit more organized and disciplined a few months prior, or even half a year prior, by now we'd be sitting really pretty. We'd be sitting really pretty. And we'd be about ready to make some moves, all in our own hands, too. So, anyways, I got tons of love for Pops, and he knows that, and he'll probably watch this video, and we'll talk about this probably shortly. But I just also wanted to go on YouTube and share this message of, how I feel about sacrifice, and to just also know that the greater the suffering, the greater the growth. So, in that concept, it wouldn't be as much suffering for us to get $1 billion and be able to buy land and all these things and start working. Well, you see, initially, a lot of weight would be relieved from us. The consequences in the long run are yet to be seen, but initially that would relieve a lot of weight. Now, if we were to try to get these normal jobs and deal with that, that would be, in a sense, putting on more weight, putting on more suffering, putting on more pressure on ourselves, which in the long, immediately will be difficult, but I think it helps guarantee a more positive, stable, and better future for us, as well as harmonize and integrate our greater and lesser responsibilities. so that we have a little bit more harmony and, better able to navigate things. So, anyway, I kind of rambled on a little bit. Sorry. And, again, I'm speaking kind of differently because people are sleeping upstairs and it's still early in the day. So, anyways, I love y'all. Hope you guys are doing good. And, alright, see you around. Peace.